you for tuning in to the only station giving you double the information and inspiration. WDRB Media and WGIV, the soul of Charlotte. This is Marriage Matters, and I'm your host, the Marriage Coach. Make sure you tune in every Wednesday at 7:30 for tips and advice on all matters of marriage. Be sure to like us on Facebook by searching for Marriage Matters so that you can stay abreast of topics, ask questions, or comment during our interactive segment of Marriage Matters. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.ittakes2marriagecoaching.com for more information on our services. Today's show sponsor is It Takes Two Marriage Coaching. It Takes Two provides individual counseling sessions as well as group marriage retreats for engaged and married couples. You can reach It Takes Two Marriage Coaching at 704-449-6542 or check them out on their website at www.ittakes2marriagecoaching.com. All right, so we are going to jump right into today's segment. I have a special guest in the studio with me today, and that is my husband. Hey, boo.
Hello.
Can you say something sexy like, hey, boo? Can you say it back to me?
Hey, boo.
So he totally does not want to be here, and I have basically, promised all kinds of tricks and trades and things to get him in the studio with me today. But I'm excited that he's here. So we are actually going to be doing two very special shows for our next two shows in January. So tonight's show and then for next week's show, our topic is going to be Ask the Coach. And so if you have been following us on our business Facebook page or via our website, you are aware that we have been promoting and putting out there for all of you, our listeners, to send in questions, comments, whatever you want to say about It Takes Two marriage coaching and Marriage Matters. And so I'm really, really excited to answer some of the questions that have come in via email, via messenger. I've had questions that have been text to me. So we've got a lot of good stuff that we're going to be addressing today. And I thought how appropriate would it be to then have my husband in here with me today so that you can not only get the perspective of me, your marriage coach, but also you're going to get the perspective of my husband. And so you'll get a male perspective on some of these questions that you guys have asked. Now, Maurice, I know you're not a marriage coach, and I know you always like to give that disclaimer. Is there any other disclaimers that you wanted to give before we get started, or you okay with me just noting that, this is not necessarily your professional area of expertise?
That's fine, though. I don't have any other disclaimers.
Well, okay, the fact that you've been married almost 8 years kind of sort of makes you a pseudo expert.
To my marriage, but not a coach.
Okay, you're not necessarily a coach to other marriages, but we've had enough experiences, I think, in our marriage for you to definitely shed some light on some of the things that our couples are going to be asking us today, some of the questions that we have. So I think we've pretty much experienced a variety of issues and challenges in our marriage. But I think the beautiful thing about what we have is that whenever we have those issues and whenever we have those challenges, you and I agree that we work on them together.
Yeah, we do.
And so I always say, the difference between a couple that's divorced and a couple that's married is the fact that the couple that is still married had the same issues as the couple that's divorced, but the couple that's still married chose to work through those issues versus hire a divorce attorney.
Yeah, I agree. They didn't quit, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't quit. I think that's the biggest piece. And I think that's the reason why you and I are still married today.
Yes.
Not because we're void of any problems, void of any issues, or not because our marriage is perfect.
Yeah, that's right, because we didn't quit. We haven't quit.
And amen to that. Are we ever going to quit?
No.
You sure about that answer? You got a little jiggle with it.
Don't try to put me on the spot.
Okay, I'm just making sure. All right, so we are going to start with our first question. I'm actually going to kind of skip around here. I've got questions coming from everywhere, and so we're going to kind of skip around to which ones we're going to answer at what time. So, okay, I'm going to start here because this is kind of a interesting question to me. And it's a one sentence question. The rest of my questions are like paragraphs. So I think this is a good place to start. So the first question says, is it okay to be friends with your ex or exes? So plural, exes. That's a good question. So I'm gonna give my straight up honest opinion as a person who has exes in my life, and I do have at least one of my exes is a friend. And so I'll put it this way: there should never be secret friends in your marriage. And so what I mean by that is, if the two of you all are married and there's someone in your life that you call a friend. So we're not talking about associates. I'm not talking about just somebody you just say, hey, what's up to at work? Not that kind of thing. But somebody in your life that you actually call a friend. Actually somebody that you consider a personable friend to you. I would say that at some point over the time of your marriage, your spouse should have been introduced to that person, even if you've never even, okay, let's just say you've never had the opportunity to be face to face with that person. Maybe you all are friends, but you don't really see each other. At least that friend has been mentioned to your spouse. So, for example, the ex that I have that is a friend of mine, I'm not going to say his name on the show, but you know who I'm talking about, right, Maurice?
Yes.
Okay. So, I don't know at what point in our marriage did I tell you that he was a friend of mine. Do you recall?
No, I don't. I don't. Really, I don't remember.
Was it early on? Was it midway? I feel like it was before we ever got married.
It wasn't early on. Yes, it was. I'm sorry. Yes, it was.
I'm like,
it was
wait a
early
minute,
on.
I thought it was before we got married.
It was.
Okay.
Because I had an issue with it.
Okay, so, and that's why I'm glad you said that, and that's why I want your opinion on it. So, in my opinion, as long as that ex understands their role, so they know that they are no longer in your life, there are no more ties between the two of you, there's no relationship there's no love still kind of lingering out there, and they know that you are married and that your spouse is your forever mate, and that they know that your spouse is, might meet them one day, and they're okay with that. To me, that makes an ex okay to be your friend, as long as you never cross those boundaries. Now, let me add this in real quick, Marisa, before you chime in. But I would also say that what I wouldn't do, though, with my ex is do things that I did with him when he was my boyfriend. Because to me, then that would kind of cross the line. So whereas if me and my boyfriend went on dates before he became my ex, I wouldn't go on a date with him, even as my friend, like, oh, me and such and such just hanging out tonight. No, that would probably be inappropriate because it could be misconstrued as something more than what it really is, to maybe somebody else that's looking or watching, or maybe even to my spouse, and I would never want that. So I would always say, if I maybe was invited to something with that friend, I would invite my spouse along with me. And I probably wouldn't go without my spouse, being beside me. So, but you were saying, when I brought it up to you that this person was still my friend, that you had an issue. So tell me, what was the reason for your issue? Because that's going to kind of give us the other side of this question.
Well, first, I think that if we're in a relationship, that we should have an understanding before you bring your ex into the relationship. If I don't agree or you don't agree that they should be friends, then they shouldn't be your friend. If we have an understanding, then we can go to your ex or you can go to your ex and lay down like, this is what it is. We can't go out after a certain time. Texting and phone calls have to cease or whatever. You just lay down the rules and guidelines with them. But I think at first it should go with the relationship. It should be the husband and the wife, or that's how it should go.
Okay. I agree with that angle. So you're saying basically that as long as the couple is on the same page first, before they ever say, okay, it's okay for us to continue this friendship with the ex, then all things is fair in love and basketball.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In love and exes, shall we say? Okay. I think that's a great perspective. So I hope that we answered your question. Let's move on to our next question. Okay. we're going to go to a website question. No, I'm sorry. We're going to go to a Facebook question that was on our Marriage Matters page. So here we go. How do I keep my covenant with God while being married to someone who does not help or try financially, spends no time with the kids or with me? That's a Reese is over holding up the deuces. That's a hard question because, I feel you, Maurice. Like, I'm thinking, why would I even want to? I don't think I'd want to be with someone who's not contributing financially to my family. He spends no time with me. He spends no time with our kids. I'm gonna say this, and then you let me know what you think, Maurice. I'm gonna say this on that one.
It doesn't say it's a guy, does it?
No, I was just speaking from my perspective as a female.
Well, you should say person.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, so I'm glad he's in the studio, so he's keeping me from being gender biased. So I don't think I'm going to want to be with a person who doesn't do those things. But if I had to answer this question, how do I keep my covenant with God while being married to someone? So if I'm understanding the question, it sounds like what you're saying is, how do I stay married? And you saying that that's the covenant with God. Because obviously these are vows you made before God. So how do you stay married even though you're with someone who does not help you financially, doesn't spend any time with you, and doesn't spend any time with the kids? I mean, the first thing, I think your relationship is going to require is serious, intentional communication. Like, you're going to have to sit your spouse down and definitely explain to them exactly how you're feeling. And explain to them what your expectation is, that whatever that is for you. I don't know. Maybe you intend that they are putting in at least 50% of the bills as you are, and that at minimal, they are spending time with the kids at least 4 or 5 times a week, considering work schedules. I don't know what your work schedule is like or your spouse's work schedule is like, but then definitely time for you. But I would say, instead of necessarily doing the deuces, which is Maurice's perspective, but he'll share that with you. But I would say, instead of necessarily doing the deuces, if you want to keep your marriage, then you've got to communicate how you feel. You've got to let him or her know your expectations, and then you got to hold them accountable to meet those expectations. Allow him or her the opportunity to do what they need to do to meet your expectations. And then if they don't, hold them accountable. Let them know, like, I'm not willing to stay married to you because the other piece of that is God don't intend for you to be unhappy. And I'm a firm believer in that. I don't believe that God intends for any of us to be in a marriage where we're being mistreated. And so if you're being totally neglected and your kids are being totally neglected, and financially as well, the Bible does say who doesn't work doesn't eat. So if he or she is not providing financially, I don't even see how they have a dog in the fight to what goes on in your household. So you've got to definitely open up that communication. Will be the first step for me. You got any thoughts on that?
I'd agree with what you said. Pray about it. If you have somebody in the church that you can talk to, like a pastor or
like maybe like a part of your marriage
ministry. Yeah, your marriage ministry. Go to them. Talk to your spouse about it, and then if nothing changes or gets better, then I would just say that's my sign that I need to leave.
You checking up the deuces?
Yes.
Time to go. So yeah, I'm in agreement with you on that. That's a tough one, but definitely do some soul searching too. Figure out what's causing you to what in you is making you stay as well. Is it the covenant with God solely, or is there something else there that's kind of holding you to that relationship, even though it seems like you're not getting much out of it? But I don't have a lot of detail to that question. It was a kind of generic, but thank you so much for sending that question in, and hopefully we were able to answer that for you. All right, so let's go to another question here. This is a good one. So this question is actually from someone who is not married yet. Looks like they are engaged. It says, I am not yet married, but will be this summer. Problem is, there are some secrets I need to share with him. I am not sure how to tell him. What is the best way to communicate secrets? So to me, it's almost an oxymoron that communication and secrets is in the same sentence because, I mean, secrets would be the opposite of communicating. You're not yet married. You don't tell us what the secret is, so I'm not for sure what kind of secret you're talking about. If we're talking about like something very, very serious secret, like, you know.
You robbed the bank. I don't know.
You robbed a bank. You committed a murder. I mean, I don't know what kind of secret you're talking about. But don't go into your marriage with secrets. I would definitely say that. I mean, if you guys are not married yet and you're writing me because there is a secret there, I'm assuming it must be a pretty heavy secret for you to even ask the question on how to communicate about it. I would say doing your premarital counseling, and it's definitely my hopes that you're getting premarital counseling. I recommend that for any couple who is engaged or going to be getting married, seek premarital counseling. I don't care if that's through your church, through an independent agency that you hire. It Takes Two Marriage Coaching offers premarital counseling, so maybe you'd contact us. Whomever it is, I want you to seek premarital counseling. So maybe during one of those sessions, you could bring that up. There are some things, I'm just kind of giving you an example of how I would say it. Babe, there's some things that I want to kind of get out on the table. I want to kind of clear the air before we make this union before God. Here it is. Here's the thing I've been holding in from you, or was afraid to tell you, or whatever the reason is that I didn't share it with you, and allow that person the opportunity to respond to you. It sounds like maybe you're kind of holding on to it because you don't know how that person is going to respond, or you don't know if he's going to consider this like a make it or break it moment, but you're not yet married. So this is the perfect time to do it. Don't carry secrets into your marriage. So definitely get that secret out and share it with your spouse or with your potential spouse, and allow them the opportunity to give you a response. I don't know. What do you think?
Is it like an ongoing secret? Is it something that's going on now, or is it a secret that happened in the past and you just feel like you need to get out on your chest?
That's good, because if it's ongoing,
then you might
that could
need
be a whole nother.
Right, you might need to say something.
I'm gonna need you to say something, baby. Yeah, you're gonna need to speak on that.
I don't know. I mean, if you know the person that you're about to marry, how they're going to react to certain situations, you should just test them, though. Ask them certain questions to see what their response are.
Wait a minute. Did you just say test somebody?
Yes.
Because I thought you was like totally against that. Don't play no games with me. Don't test me. Just say what it is.
It's not a game. It's you're testing the waters to see how this person's going to respond. So if they respond like negatively, then you know, well, this probably isn't the best time to tell you, or I gotta
what if
find.
they respond negatively, and then that causes the person not to want to then share the secret because you didn't really ask the question that you needed to ask, or share the secret that you needed to share. You just gave a little tester, and that response was so scary, and now you like.
Well, then if the response was scary, then you know the real secret was going to be worse.
Might be time just to check it
right.
out. Call that wedding off. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say that. I mean, that's Maurice's opinion, and I think that's great male perspective. So, maybe you could combine both of our suggestions to you and kind of decide what's best for you. But if you really think this person is your forever partner and you really, really want to marry this person, I'm going to say even if you do a tester first, don't forfeit sharing whatever that secret is. Say what it is, get it out there, and then if your significant other's like, nah, I can't deal with that, you might have lost out on something. But if they're like, okay, I just appreciate you being honest. So since you was honest about it, maybe we can continue to move forward and work through it. So, all right. So moving along. Let's see here. Let's go here. All right. So because this is kind of easy. How do you apply the love languages to your marriage and or life? That's an easy one. So do you remember the 5 love languages, Maurice? So let me say before you answer. So the 5 love languages is a book that is written by Dr. Gary Chapman, I want to say.
Yes.
Yes. He's a psychologist that has done many, many, many years of research on marriage and love and relationships. And he has developed 5 ways that people typically show and, let me see again, the 5 ways that people typically give and receive love. Do you remember any of them? Let's see how good you are. Because we read this book back. This is our premarital counseling book, right? Didn't we read this as a part of premarital counseling?
Yes.
With the church?
I think one is acts of service.
Yep, acts of service.
Something with receiving gifts.
Yes. Look at you. Mm-hmm.
Physical touch.
Uh-huh.
Quality time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the 5th one.
Wow. So the 5th one is the one that your wife is.
Oh,
that's interesting.
Words of
kinda
affirmation.
sad. Oh my goodness! Wow. Yeah, words of affirmation should have been the very first one you said, being that that's your wife's primary love language.
Words of affirmation.
Yes, thank you. I'm totally words of affirmation. And your love language it used to be physical touch, but I think the last time we took the test, you were quality time, wasn't you? But then physical touch was second.
Yes, they both come in first and second.
Mm-hmm. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can actually, like I said, literally just Google the 5 love languages. This book is amazing, and basically, those love you take a little quiz, and you can actually take the quiz online. I think it's actually posted to his website, or there are several links out there to taking the quiz. But you take the quiz, and it tells you basically how do you like to receive love. That's what the quiz shows. And then typically most of us give love in the same way that we like to receive love. Yeah, I would say so. What? Because when you was physical touch.
I was just going to say yes.
You was definitely physical touch. Might need you to go back to that a little bit.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
You know what that means, but I'm gonna let you slide for the moment. We talk about that later off the air. So, okay, so those are the 5 love languages, and basically the way you apply them to your life is you would want to know what your love language is, and you would want to know what your spouse's love language is, and then those love languages. Those love languages are going to be the way that you communicate with each other. So, for example, my love language is words of affirmation. What that would mean is that, Maurice, you would be, it would behoove you, if you want to communicate with me, your love to me, it would behoove you to communicate through words of affirmation, because that's the way that I like to receive it. And it would behoove me, if I want to truly show you how much I love you, for me to communicate through quality time, because that's your main love language, and physical touch. So that will be how it's applied. So just a quick question for you, Maurice. Do you feel like that we speak each other's language for the most part?
Somewhat.
What does that mean?
Somewhat.
Well, who don't speak what? What you trying to say?
I mean, we speak it a little bit, somewhat.
Do you think? Okay, let me rephrase the question then. Do you think I speak your love language?
No.
You don't think I give you quality time?
Or physical touch.
That has got. Time out. Wait. You really don't think that I give you quality time and physical touch?
Oh, you give me some quality time, yeah. But physical touch.
I don't give you physical touch. I touch you all the time.
0.
I'm over here touching you in the studio. I've been touching your back.
Yeah, like if I say I'm sore or my neck hurts or whatever.
Okay, so you talking about you want me to give you a massage?
Not just, okay, yeah, but you could just rub it a little bit for at least 2 minutes. I'd say I'm sore. I'd be sore all day and go to bed sore. So.
Okay.
But then when you want to be touched and rubbed,
then what?
You make sure I touch and rub you. I can't go to sleep until I touch and rub you.
Okay. All right, so it's fair then to say, our Marriage Matters listeners, as you see, our marriage is by no means perfect as we started off. Beautiful thing is we stick together though through this. So I'm making this announcement on the radio. I am going to do a better job of giving you physical touch. Now that I have an understanding of what you meant. So I didn't consider you come home and saying something like my shoulders hurt as you necessarily wanted me to give you physical touch. I guess in my book I was thinking you would just say, like, hey Patrice, my shoulders hurt. Will you rub my shoulder right here?
No.
Versus my shoulders hurt and just expecting me to know what you are talking about.
My shoulder hurts.
Okay. So when you say that, I gotta know that means you need to rub down. Yes?
Yeah, you can go that way.
I'm gonna do a better job. I made you that promise over the air, so all my listeners are holding me accountable, so I gotta do it. So, quality time, you said I'm sometime.
Are you good on quality time?
I'm good on quality. So, okay, so then let me ask you, how do you speak my love language?
Probably not, no.
That's the real question. You don't speak my love language, and you can openly admit that. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. So are you going to make some kind of verbal commitment back to me? Now, I done verbally committed to you over the airways.
But I'm working on mines.
That's what I just promised that I was going to do.
I'm working. We've talked about this before, and I'm working. I am working. I have gotten a little bit better.
I can only be the judge of that.
Oh, okay.
And on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to give you...
You going to try to give me a 0 because I gave you a 0?
No, I was going to give you a 3.
Okay.
That's still an F, but we work with you because I love you. So we are winding down on time. I know we did not get through all of our questions, but that's okay. I think we got through several. I definitely want you to tune in. We're going to continue to answer your questions that you've sent to us, and I'm going to share some tidbits of some things that I want you all to take away with you, and some ways that you can continue to strengthen your marriage beyond the Marriage Matters radio show. But thank you so much for tuning in today. I am your host, the Marriage Coach, and I look forward to you tuning in with me next week, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m.